Hi, hello, Trevor Gordon Hall here. Welcome to the very first lesson in the Fingerstyle Core Skills pack here. We're going to start by looking at some of the real basic fundamentals of fingerpicking and sort of build from there so we have a good idea of the lay of the land when learning fingerstyle guitar. There's a couple different skills that are good to have under your fingers so that when you start playing other songs or start writing yourself, you have a good foundation from which to go and you don't feel totally confused. So the first thing that we want to do is just talk about how to line up each finger with a specific string. Now, yes, each finger is going to be used independently, but we also want to think about it as two separate groups as well. So your thumb is going to be doing its own thing and grabbing a lot of the bass notes. But then these three are working together with three adjacent strings. And what I mean by that is the thumb will grab down here on the low E string, and then your index is going to grab the D string, and your middle is going to grab on the G, and then your ring finger will grab on the B, right? And I call this the 3-in-a-row principle. So yes, again, they're independent, but think about them as two groups. I have our three here, the index, middle, and ring, and the thumb. And sometimes you'll have to pick them or sort of pinch them together all at the same time. And other times you'll have to play them completely independently. But I think it's helpful to try to group those three with three strings in a row whenever you can. So in this exercise, we'll start with the D, G, and B, and then we'll actually jump up to the G, B, and E, but you want to make sure that you feel comfortable moving all of those as a unit themselves. So here's what the exercise sounds like, and then we'll just break it down. Alright, so the first thing to think about is your thumb and your index, middle, and ring are actually going to be listed in the tab as P-I-M-A. And you'll see this for the remainder of the course. And it's really important to know what those are just off the bat so that when you see that written in the tab, it's not too confusing. The numbers you'll see in the tab will actually be referring to what frets you're playing. And when you look up at the standard notation, there'll be numbers there, and that's referring to your left hand. The right hand is going to be the P-I-M-A. So just so you know that as we're going through. So what you're going to do is we're going to start with your left hand, put your first finger on the low E and do it on the 3rd fret, and then you're going to put your second finger on the B string on the 3rd fret, and then take your 3rd finger and put it on the 4th fret of the D. And what's really important about this is to make sure when you reach this 3rd finger up to not mute this open G, because we're getting a really nice chord sound having this F sharp here, the D on the 4th fret, and the open G. Right? And so it's very easy to sort of mute that surrounding open string. And this is another really good foundational principle with fingerstyle, is sometimes you have to sort of reach over a string in order to make sure that that string is ringing out and clear before you get to your fretted string that you want. So the first thing that you want to do is just kind of like bend your wrist just a little bit, just to get off the ground. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, your thumb and your 3rd finger, we're going to pinch those at the same time. Right? And when we do that, you do the thumb, so P and A, P-I-M-A, the ring is the A, and then your middle, we're going to go down and then up to the index there. All right? And what's great about this is we're getting used to pinching and then sort of going backwards in sequence and then back up again. So you can see we're hitting the bass note twice. And then the next one we'll do is we're going to keep this same exact chord here, but we're going to take the index finger and we're just going to hop up to the A string and keep it still on the 3rd fret. And what's going to happen here is as this index goes up, remember our group, our 3-in-a-row group, that's actually going to go all the way up to the top. And what we'll do here is the thumb is going to grab the A string, and then we have the 1, 2, and 3, your I, M, and A are going to grab up here. Just like that. And then the thumb is going to grab here on the D string. Alright? So we have... So that's through the first line. What you'll notice is that if you have anything planted, if you have your palm planted or your pinky planted, those aren't wrong, but they may be limiting in how comfortable you feel reaching the strings. So if you have your wrist planted down here, that can cause a little bit of issues and help add some extra tension into your arm. So as we're going through, just start thinking about, is there any extra tension I have in my arm, and can I eliminate that? The reason why is because all of that will show up in the playing itself. So you want to make sure you're playing relaxed and clean. So the next line is we're going to go to your second finger up on the 3rd fret, and then use your first finger all the way on the D string here on the 2nd fret. And now our thumb is going to go all the way up to the D string here, so the P down here, and then I, M, A. Remember our 3 in a row, that's going to be the top 3 here. Right? And what I will say is that this is another example where you're going to have fretted notes with open strings in between. Again, just watch out reaching over, so you may have to angle the wrist a little bit, and that's okay. If you're resting your elbow on your knee, that might make it a little bit trickier, so just make sure you can keep your elbow free. And then we reach the second finger back to the 2nd fret on that one, and then your first finger goes to the G here. Right? And this is kind of a nice little D chord, right, without the 3rd fret here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually take this exact shape, the index and the 2nd, and just go down here. Right? And you'll notice from here to here is an identical chord. We're just hopping a little bit so on the D and B strings. And you still want to keep that G open. And then what's happening on this side is you're going to hit the A here with the thumb, and then the thumb again. You'll notice there's a quarter note at the end, and having that sustained gives you a little bit more time to start back at the beginning. So now let's try this at 60 beats per minute, and this is what that sounds like. 1, 2, ready, go. Alright, so now that you have a handle on that, what we're going to do is we're going to progress a little bit further with how to use the fingers with the pinch technique, but also separating them individually. So stick around for the next lesson and just have fun while you're playing through all these exercises. I'll see you then.